Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Oh, glorious assembly of devotees. Reading from Prabhupada Lilamrit, Chapter 4. Every town and village. After a few weeks in San Francisco, Swamiji went to Los Angeles, where a small group of his disciples had opened a storefront temple in a middle-class black and Hispanic neighborhood. The storefront was bare and the location secluded. Swamiji stayed there for 2 months, delivering lectures, holding kirtans, and giving strength and inspiration to his disciples. Although a buzzing in his head made walking difficult, he found the warm climate and sunshine agreeable, and he continued to translate Srimad Bhagavatam. In May, a few months after leaving Los Angeles, Swamiji paid the first visit to his ISKCON center in Boston. There also he found a few disciples based in a small storefront. It was in Swamiji's room one day in Boston that he accepted the name Prabhupada Ki Jai. So Prabhupada Ki Jai. It's in Boston. While his secretary was taking dictation, Prabhupada mentioned that the affix G was a third-class address. Then, why do we call you Swamiji? What should we call you? A spiritual master, Swamiji replied, is usually addressed by names like Gurudev, Vishnupada, or Prabhupada. May we call you Prabhupada? Yes. At first, some of the devotees were reluctant to give up the long cherished Swamiji, which for them was a name of affection. I heard we shouldn't use the name Swamiji anymore. One of the boys asked one morning on the walk, "Who said?" Prabhupada replied quickly, "They said you said it. Said it was third class and we shouldn't you say it." I never said that. Then, can we use it? Yes, that is all right. But Swamiji soon disappeared. The devotees even printed an explanation in Back to Godhead. Prabhupada. The word Prabhupada is a term of utmost reverence in Vedic religious circles, and it signifies a great saint, even among saints. The word actually has two meanings. First, one at whose feet, Pada. There are many Prabhus, a term meaning master, which the disciples of a guru used in addressing each other. The second meaning is one who is always found at the lotus feet of Krishna, the Supreme Master. In the line of disciplic succession, through which Krishna consciousness is conveyed to mankind. There have been a number of figures of such spiritual importance as to be called Prabhupada. Sarupa Goswami Prabhupada executed the will of his master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore he and his associate Goswamis are called Prabhupada. Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. We also say Bhakti Dhira Swami Prabhupada. Bhakti Dhira Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakura executed the will of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, and therefore he is also addressed as Prabhupada. Our spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pad 108, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, has in the same way executed the will of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada in carrying the message of love of Krishna to the Western world. And therefore, the humble servant of His Divine Grace from all the different centers of the Sankirtan movement are falling in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and prefer to address His Grace, our spiritual master, as Prabhupada, and he has kindly said yes. That is how the meaning and the name came to be. Now his god brothers are not happy. They are not happy even till today. Even till today, they are not happy. Why is Prabhupada using our Guru's title? Just last month, some of them met with one of our devotees, and they told him, please tell your people to change this name. Tell your people to change the name. This Prabhupada is only for our Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, not your Guru. It's just last month, in my opinion. It's something which we should see. Let us see something. Our Prabhupada is not less than our first Sampradaya Acharyas. Is not less. We are familiar with their position, Madhva Acharya, Dimbarka Acharya, Vishnu Swami, and Ramanuja Acharya. Our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is not less in quality to them. So he insisted that His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya, his called, should always go with his title, his name. here in Africa, is it not? Here in Africa, a father gives his name to one of his junior children. Is it not? It's a Benjamin Jr., right? So what is the problem? What is the problem? By his own sweet will, out of happiness for his child, he bestowed the blessing to give his own name. Prabhupada Jr. What is the problem? After all, we are bearing Prabhupada Das. So what is the problem? He has done something which is compared to none. He did something which is compared to none. Alone. Alone. So the title befits him. If you will listen to the explanation given, that Srila Goswami executed the will of his master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, he and his associate Goswamis are called the Prabhupada. Our Prabhupada has also executed the will of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Dhira Swami, perfectly. So, what is the difficulty giving him the name Prabhupada? He executed the order. He has been given the order, go to the West and present Krishna consciousness. He did it perfectly. If you are following Parampara, and others, they were Prabhupada because of fulfilling the order given to them by their Guru. And Prabhupada fulfilled the order given to him by his Guru also. If this is a yardstick, if you feel that. This is not a competition. After all, you see, Prabhupada has done everything differently, in a different style. Look at everything is in a different style, not the same style. That means when he stands separate, and his activities are completely clear. One can see what he did. It is clear. He stands different. Look at the kirtan. It's not different. Different. Look at the quality of dirty dresses. It's not different. Even look at your dresses. It's different. Everything is different. Everything. He has acted perfectly as an acharya. Therefore, for him to bear this title should be appropriate. Montreal, August 1968. So the Papa was in his room speaking with several disciples. So, Annapurna You have got some news? He asked. Annapurna was a young British girl. A few months ago, her father had written from England that he might be able to provide a house if some devotees came there. Yes, she replied. So, what is your next program? She was reticent. That letter from your father is encouraging. Yes, he encourages me, but he says he can't provide any place if we come there. Prabhupada looked disappointed. That's all right. It is up to Krishna. When we go to someone to preach, we have to stand before them with folded hands, with all humility. My dear sir, please take to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada, Pradyumna spoke up. I was reading a book by this big atheist Swami. There are some letters in the back of the book, and I was looking at them. It is Swami's book, Prabhupada said. We have nothing to do with. I wasn't looking at his philosophy, Pradyumna explained. I was just looking at the techniques he used when he was in America. He wanted to go to Europe. So he had a man, a rich benefactor, who went on a 6-week tour of France, England, Germany, Switzerland, Holland, and then back, arranging lectures. That's how he did most of his tour. He had 1 or 2 influential people, and they arranged everything. And the lectures were arranged, and the society. So you can arrange like that, Prabhupada asked. I was thinking that there would be a Royal Asiatic Society in London. I think Thakura Bhaktivinoda was a member of that. But where is Thakura Bhaktivinoda Sangha Association? Prabhupada asked. Well, Pradyumna continued. Still, there may be some people who could open a correspondence with. They might be interested in sponsoring you. Is there anything about Krishna in that Swami's speech? Prabhupada asked. No. Prabhupada sat thoughtfully. In England, he will have no place to stay. Pradyumna might talk of influential persons traveling ahead and making all the arrangements. But where were such persons? Here was a shy girl who could barely speak up, whose father would not help. And Pradyumna is reading an atheist Swami and talking of a real ascetic society, but nothing practical. Prabhupada had plans, though. He had asked Mukunda and Samasunda to go to London and try to establish an ISKCON center. They had agreed I will be arriving in Montreal from San Francisco in a few days. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada's own spiritual master, had wanted Krishna consciousness in Europe. During the 1930s, he had sent his most experienced sannyasis to London. But they had returned, nothing accomplished. It wasn't possible to teach Krishna consciousness to the Mlechas. They had complained. Europeans couldn't sit long enough to hear the Vaishnava philosophy. Still, Srila Prabhupada had faith that his disciples will succeed. They will help him establish ISKCON centers in Europe, just as they had in North America. Certainly, such success would greatly please Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Prabhupada told a man who found a gourd lying on the road and picked it up and then found a stick and a wire and picked them up. In themselves, the three parts were useless. But by putting the gourd, the stick, and the wire together, the man made the veena and began to play beautiful music. Similarly, Prabhupada had come to the West and found some rejected youth lying here and there. And he himself had been rejected by the people of New York City, but by Krishna's grace, the combination had become successful. If his disciples remained sincere and followed his orders, they will succeed in Europe. Three married couples, Mukunda and Janaki, Shyama and Malati, with their infant daughter Saraswati, and Gurudas and Jamuna, arrived in Montreal, eager to travel to London. These three couples had begun the temple in San Francisco, where they had had close association with Srila Prabhupada. They had helped Prabhupada introduce Kirtan, Prasadam, and Yatra among the hippies of Haight-Ashbury. Now they were eager to help him introduce Krishna consciousness in London. Prabhupada asked the three couples to remain with him in Montreal for a week or two, so that he could train them to perform Kirtan expertly. Chanting Hare Krishna was not a theatrical performance, but an act of devotion, properly conducted only by pure devotees, not by professional musicians. Yet, if Prabhupada's disciples became proficient in their singing, Londoners will better appreciate Krishna consciousness. Sannyasis went to London. Indian sannyasis, not even Malaysia sannyasis, Indian sannyasis. They went to London. Sent by Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara. They didn't succeed in establishing Krishna consciousness. They didn't succeed. They failed. The same place that Prabhupada went, not with sannyasis, with householders, not even Banaprasthas, householders. They went there and they succeeded. Let us look at that very carefully. Why did the householders succeed and sannyasis fail? Pure sannyasis, they failed. In the same place, the householders succeeded. So, what do we learn from that? Srila Prabhupada would have also sent sannyasis there, but he didn't do that. He sent householders who went there, properly trained by him. Srila Prabhupada knows how to utilize everything in Krishna consciousness. He knows how to use everything in Krishna consciousness. And he knows how to discriminate. He knows how to discriminate. Spiritual discrimination, not a mundane discrimination. He knows how to do it perfectly. He didn't go there with a mundane consciousness. He went there with a transcendental consciousness. He was seeing equally. He was seeing all living entities. He was seeing equally. So he succeeded. Others did not succeed because they were seeing differences. All these are malicious. Degraded people, they cannot understand. They cannot sit long in a class to hear Bhagavatam. Even while recuperating in India, Prabhupada had always thought of returning to America to continue his movement. The Indians had seemed interested only in sense gratification, like that of the Americans. But many American youths, disillusioned with their father's wealth, were not going to the skyscrapers or to their father's business. As Prabhupada has seen from his stays in New York City and San Francisco, thousands of youth were seeking an alternative to materialism. Frustrated, they were ripe for spiritual knowledge. The devotees, still neophyte, knew nothing of spiritual life, and in most cases, very little of material life. But because they were sincerely taken to Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada was confident that their shortcomings would not prevent their spiritual progress. That is what he saw. He saw the spirit soul, and he saw they can take to it. He gave it as pure as it is. And because they were sincere, they accepted it, and the miracle happened. Although naturally beautiful, these Western youth were now dirty and morose. Their beauty had become covered. But by the chanting of the Hare Krishna was reviving them, Prabhupada said, just as the monsoon rivers, the land of Vrindavan, making it fresh and verdant. And as the Vrindavan peacocks sometimes dance jubilantly, so the devotees, having shed their material bonds, were now ecstatically dancing and chanting the holy names. When the reporter asked Prabhupada if his disciples were hippies, Prabhupada replied, "No, we are not hippies, we are happies." More than being a visiting lecturer or a formal guide, Srila Prabhupada was the spiritual father of his disciples. They accepted him as their real father, and he found them devoted and affectionate, far more than his own family had been. These young American boys and girls, the flower of your country, Prabhupada called them, had received the blessings of Lord Chaitanya and were delivering that blessing to their countrymen. Prabhupada said it was up to his American disciples to save their country. He was giving them the method, but they will have to implement it. Srila Prabhupada loved his disciples, and they loved him. Out of love, he was giving them the greatest treasure, and out of love, they were following his instructions. This was the essence of spiritual life. On the basis of this love, the Krishna consciousness movement will grow. Not surprisingly, some disciples had fallen away to their former materialistic ways of living, but Prabhupada sought those sincere souls who will stay. That was the important thing, he said. One moon is more valuable than many stars. So even a few sincere workers will accomplish wonderful things. The sincere and intelligent will stay. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will empower them to carry out his desires for distributing love for Krishna. In this way, the devotee's life will become perfect. Many disciples, in fact, already felt this happening. Krishna consciousness worked because they sincerely practiced it, and because Srila Prabhupada carefully and patiently tended the growing plants of transcendental loving service he had planted in their hearts. Hare Krishna. Does it make sense? The disciples of Prabhupada loved him and he loved them. That's the principle. The Guru loves the disciples. The disciple loves the Guru. There will be transformation. Automatically. Transformation. Everything will work perfectly. Everything. All the difficulties of the disciples become completely removed, destroyed. That we have seen. They can do anything to support Prabhupada because they loved him and they appreciate what he's doing, what he's giving to them. So what he gave them worked perfectly. That is the process of transcendence. Alright? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.